Now to the latest on the migrant crisis here in the city.
All right, we're now learning a former jail in Harlem will start being used as a shelter.
Fox 8's Morgan Mackay is here with the details. And Morgan, talk about how difficult it's been to find housing for migrants.
Well, the city has reviewed over 750 potential sites to house migrants. Steve and Natasha, just in the past week, over 2,200 migrants arrived in the city, which is slightly fewer than in previous weeks, but still a pretty large number as the city continues to exhaust its resources.
We are hopefully opening up a state facility imminently. I'm hoping that occurs in the next day or two.
This site is the former Lincoln Correctional Facility, which has been vacant since 2019. This former jail in Harlem will open as a shelter to hundreds of adult migrants in the next day or two, while the city continues its search for emergency housing.
Everything's on the table. I think when we look at sites, there's a number of factors that we need to look at. Some of its cost, some of its location, the amount of infrastructure that needs to be put in place.
Over 72,000 migrants have arrived in the city since last year, and nearly 46,000 are being cared for by the city. Migrants now make up half of the city's homeless shelter population, which has doubled since last year, according to city officials. Some critics are pushing the city to work with private landlords in order to use vacant apartments to house migrants. But city officials say this could take away housing from New Yorkers.
I think it's really important that, while we are looking at all of the options for housing our asylum seekers, that we're also not taking housing, and particularly not affordable housing, out of the stock, particularly when we're in an incredibly tight housing market.
The city is continuing to look at the federal government for help in covering the costs of housing migrants. But the city's budget director at an unrelated event said that FEMA told him the city would only receive a fraction of the money that they thought they would at the beginning of the year.
Unfortunately, for the first tranche of the program, which is about $350 million, we only got $30.5 million. Okay, and based on what we heard from FEMA, they claim it's not yet official. No locality can claim more than 10% for the second tranche.
It is not sufficient for something that we think is going to be, I think the number is now $4.3 billion of expenses to New York City. I think anyone can understand that math does not work out.
Now, the deputy mayor was asked today how many migrants have applied for asylum out of those who have arrived in the city. She said today actually a very small percentage, citing language concerns as a primary reason. Asylum seekers have 1 year to file their asylum claim. Natasha?
All right, Morgan, thank you.